Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm back out again. It's a weekend, which is quite nice, and it is decent weather. So I'm in a woodland in Wales. It's one that I've been to before, you may have seen on the channel. But tonight I'm testing out a Pomoly hot tent and also a Pomoly titanium hot tent stove. So this is the Stovehut 70 version 3.0. Apparently the first version had some issues with it leaking. Not too sure about the second version, but this is version 3.0. So it's very similar to a backwards bungalow tent. It seems a bit bigger though. Obviously you've got this big opening here. It's single skinned. You've got an entrance at that end and an entrance at that end. And then here you have a large vestibule, which is the main sort of difference between these tents. You've got a vestibule here, which you can put a hot tent stove in. And you've got a jack that comes with it on the side here. That's already there, pre-cut hole. Hopefully that is big enough for my chimney. It's quite a weird tent. There's a few little things. I didn't show me putting it up, and there's reasons behind that. I've not done it before, and I wanted to make sure it went up okay. But this was something I mentioned on the last hot tent that I did, where the snow skirts were flapping about in the wind, and I said maybe you could have it velcroed or some way of taking it off. Pomoly have actually got a zip on these, so you can just unzip them when there isn't any snow, so you don't get any of that flapping around. I haven't done that tonight. I'm not going to bother, it shouldn't be too windy, but a really good little idea. Good thinking, Pomoly. However, the tent comes with two poles. Now you can get more poles, you can order an extra set of poles, and I thought that these were to go in the ends to hold the actual tent up itself, but there's no grommet inside it. So I'm a bit concerned that this pole tip here would end up pushing through the top of the tent. So I'm using these as the door extension poles, and I did bring trekking poles, so I've got those up inside the tent. Now, this comes with 19 pegs. That is a lot of pegs. I haven't used them all. I've virtually used them all, but there's other guy out points on here that would only really be used if like the door was down. So there is a central guy out point here, so when the door is closed down you can really seal it down to give you more weather protection. But what I found frustrating was the only way to attach these poles to the doors, there's no grommet on here to attach the top of the pole to, so the only way I can see to do it is to attach the string around it, the guy out string, and then have another guy out coming down here, which is fine, but they don't supply you with an extra guy out to actually put these doors out, which is a bit weird. There's a guy out line on the rear here, but on this side of the tent you've got a guy out point here, which I think is really quite an important one, because the stove jack is going to be in there and they don't put a guy out line on it, and I haven't got any spare guy lines. I've already nicked two guy lines from my colleague over there from his tent because he doesn't need them. On the back here there is a central guy out point to give you more space inside the tent, and again no guy line, so I can't use that, so I'm going to lose a fair bit of headroom, and I just don't understand why they wouldn't put just two extra bits of guy on it. You have got a loop system running across the top here, so you could run that all the way through and have a ridge line, so you don't use the poles inside, which would be nice because then you've got better access in and out of the tent. And I'm assuming it runs through there. Now this pole here, this can't be, this is the sort of thing that I would expect this grommet to be for those poles, but the pole would have to be on the outside of the tent, which doesn't make sense, because then you can't shut the door, you have to lose the vestibule. And the same at that end, the pole would have to be outside, flattening this section here, and you won't be able to tie it up. It's confusing. As with a lot of these things, a lot of these tents, there is no instructions with it whatsoever. I did watch a couple of videos beforehand, but I didn't notice anything about those sorts of issues, so I may have a re-look and see if I can find anything else out. They've also sent me the T1 Mini 3 fast fold titanium hot tent stove. I have burnt this in already, so I've already used it once at home, so it is burnt in and the chimney shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to hopefully try and use that tonight, and it's not going to be an issue in that vestibule that I'm a little bit worried about. I may close the doors down and use one of the guy lines that I've got on the doors to hold the vestibule out, just to give it a bit more safety with the stove inside there. But it looks good. It's a nice looking tent. I love the colour. It blends in nicely. It's a good woodland tent. As I said, I'm in Wales, and I'm in a little local woodlands that I've come to a few times now, and I'm joined tonight with a local celebrity. You've probably seen him on 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. It's the one and only Joe Wilkinson.
Mate. How's it going, guys?
It's not really Joe Wilkinson. It's Gez from Boys in the Wood.
Welcome to the show.
It's here again. The man lives here.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I feel like it.
I feel like a rabbit in headlights right now. So.
You've done a lot of camps here, haven't you, recently?
Yeah,
you've been out?
Too many, to be honest.
You've been out a lot recently, haven't you?
Yeah. Mike, you've been here a few times as well.
I've been here a few times. You've done loads of you did those gravel pits, or whatever they were, the quarries, wasn't it? You did a couple of quarry camps and
they're all local as well.
A few other bits.
They're all stone throw away, all of them.
You got some good spots around there. Yeah. I've got Dartmoor and nothing else.
Yeah, the young running trees, that's the only problem. The tours look beautiful.
Yeah, you're not allowed to hammock camp or woodland camp on Dartmoor.
No. Or fire.
Or have a fire.
Or be poor.
Or be poor.
They would hate boys in the wood.
They'd be fine. Gez has promised me he's going to come down one day and do a camp on Dartmoor. Show him how it's done properly. Hardcore.
Not saying that on camera.
Hey?
If I say it on camera, then I got to do it.
You got to say yes on camera, huh?
I'll be there. I'll be in Dartmoor.
I'll be there. I'll be back. Right, I'm going to get the stove set up and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the Pomoly T1 Mini 3 folding titanium stove. So what you get in here, you get a set of safety gloves, so it stops you from cutting your hand on the thin titanium. You have the chimney here with the rings to keep it in place, and a spark arrestor. Stove itself, and then you've got an adjustable vent that goes on the top here, which is where the chimney attaches to. You also get these 3 little hooks. They go into the spark arrestor, and then you can use those to tie it down so it doesn't blow about in the wind. So I'll get this set up and show you. It's fairly straightforward, and the reason why it's called a Mini 3 is because it's got 3 windows, one at the front, one at each side. Okay, so the stove is now set up and the chimney is in. Now, this has been a major problem. This had a pre-cut hole in it, and when you roll this chimney up, this is a Pomoly stove with the Pomoly tent. When you roll this chimney up to the fixed width that it needs to be, so these rings restrict it to the right size so that it can fit over the bottom section or the top section of the stove there. The hole that they put in for the stove jack compresses the pipe a bit more, so it then won't go over and seal itself against the top of the stove. I spent forever trying to do it. I got Gez to come and help me. It would not work. So I've ended up having to, I tried to make a small incision. My knife was a lot sharper than I thought, and I made quite a large incision, but as soon as I put it through this hole that is bigger, it went straight over the top of the stove, fitted on in seconds, no problem. Now, I'm a bit worried about these. because they never seem to be that far away from the actual chimney. I don't know why they don't do them down the bottom, roll away, maybe because of the rain. Hopefully that'll be okay, but it's all set up. So now it's time to go and get some wood. And I've got another little toy that's been sent out to me that I'm going to test tonight, which is a little mini electric chainsaw, make life a bit easier. So this is the SeeSii electric mini chainsaw. This was sent out to me ages ago, I just have not had a chance to use it yet. But it's a great little package. The setup is fantastic with what you get. So you have a little kit, you've got a screwdriver and a thing for oil. So yeah, you get everything for it. You've got a set of safety gloves so you don't cut yourself, protective glasses, a spare saw chain for the saw, and then the saw itself. You get two 21 volt lithium batteries and the charger. I have charged these up already. Let's get cutting some wood. Right, I'm going to drop these posts down a little bit because they need doing. Just see what this is like, see if it's any good. Got my safety gloves on. I haven't got my safety goggles on. Don't do what I do. Start the little bit at the top. Well, that's a good 2.5 inch thick post. Let's cut it down nicely. That's impressive. Right, let's try something a bit thicker. This is a good 3.5 inch thick trunk, so we'll give this a go. I went through a knot there. That's a good 4 inches. That goes through it like butter. So yeah, the SeeSii electric chainsaw. This is a lot more powerful than what I thought it was going to be. I mean, it just went through that sort of 4 inch thick wood like butter. So the question is going to be about the longevity of the battery and how long that lasts. But you've got two of them anyway, so there's going to be plenty of power in here to get through quite a fair bit of wood. Don't really need to cut up any more because I've got enough as it is for the stove. But yeah, if you're interested in something similar, handy to have at home anyway, just for logs and woods, or if you've got a big garden, you need to chop bits down on trees. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to buy it. And yeah, I'm quite impressed. Right, so dinner tonight, I've got some pork, red Leicester, cheese and jalapeno hot dog sausages, some diced onion, and some onion brioche hot dog rolls. Looking forward to getting stuck into those. So, how's your evening been so far? Blinding
Really
me.
good until you blinded me with your light. I can't even keep my eyes
Let's get it
open.
off,
I need my
full
glasses
boom.
again.
So, where's your lantern gone?
Sorry, mate.
Have you put it away? Have you had fun?
Yeah,
Been alright, innit?
it's always a calming experience when you're around.
I haven't managed to poison you with the sausages yet.
Well, we'll find that out in the morning, won't we?
Give it an hour or
Stay
so
tuned for part 2.
to get through the system.
Yeah, Mike very much, very kindly donated 25% of his tea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
generous
couldn't.
guy.
They were huge though.
Yeah,
Three was more than enough for me.
I think I did you the favour, really, didn't I?
Right, so we are just sitting here. I'm blinding you now. Like wee Willy Winkle. We're just sitting here chilling out, having a beer, and You've just cracked your wine open, haven't you?
I certainly have. That's not it, that's a lantern.
That's a lantern. So yeah, Gez has got his Kook's cup with his wine in it, which is nice. I'm on a beers and I've got some Jack Daniels for afterwards. But we're just sitting here watching the fire go down.
It feels like the last of a winter camp, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It should feel more springtime, but it's
definitely a chill now. Yeah, the temperature has dropped a fair bit. There's no cloud cover, so it's a lovely clear sky. And obviously that's made it a bit colder. But but you can feel the fire there, can't you?
Yeah, I can feel it, yeah.
I'll stick some more wood on it in a second. So yeah, we're both keeping warm by the fire, chilling out. It's nice. Apologies, not been doing much filming tonight. Me and Gez have been catching up. It's been quite a long time since we last camped together, so we've had a good laugh. Quite a few drinks, lots of food. The sausages were awesome with onions. And yeah, it's been a bit of a laugh. Even done some singing, which is a bit worrying. But he's Welsh, he can sing, so that's fine. Anyway, I am going to hit the sack now. It's about 11:30. And hopefully get a decent night's kip. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. I had a very lazy morning this morning. I woke up about probably 8:30. So I've had a good old lay in. In fact, got up and Gez has already packed up his gear. Tent is away and he's had, I think, about 18 coffees. So he's just on his next one because I've given him a proper coffee. I'm going to test out a new stove now, which is an electric. It's called the Lofi Stove, and it's a wood burning stove, but it's really cool. It's very, very clever. I'll get that set up and I'll show you in a minute. So this is the Lofi Stove. It's made in England by a guy called Johnny Lofi, and I love the innovative design on this thing. There's nothing else out there that's like this, and the fact that it's made in England, it's made by one guy. It's not some big multi-conglomerate, huge company. I think makes it even more appealing. I've been watching the progress over the years of him building it, crowdfunding for it. So I think it went through Kickstarter or one of those, and it's done really, really well. But it's the versatility as well. It's like a normal tiny cook set. When you think of a wood stove, you don't think of something like this. So you've got an aluminium pot with a handle, with measurements, 500ml, normal lid like you would have on a titanium pot or mug. Inside that, another little bag, again titanium, really nice quality. It is really, really well made. And inside here is the stove. So this has an ash guard, spark arrest, a sort of cover for it, and then electric cable. So this plugs in to the USB-C on here and then into your power bank. And let's face it, if we're camping, we're going to have a power bank because you need to charge your phone. So in the morning, when your phone's all charged up, take your power bank, plug it in here, turn it on, and then you've got a stove. Now, obviously you could put twigs in here and just have it as a stove as it is, but it's not going to be as efficient. But with this you can control the air that goes through the stove. So at the bottom of the stove here is a fan. This stays cool to touch as well, so you can actually pick it up by the bottom, and the fan will generate air, blow it through, and this, as you can see inside here, is like a gasifier stove. So there is a separate panel where the air comes out. That increases the efficiency of the burn. You can get a more powerful burn. And on this little USB here, there is a little knob, and you can turn it and increase or decrease the airflow. So it's quite exciting. I think it's an excellent design. The arrestor goes on the top there, and then you can pop your cup on the top there, or your pot, whatever you've got, frying pan, and make yourself your morning coffee. Okay, well, I'm just going to try lighting this little firelighter on here, on the top, which they say they recommend to do, light it from the top. Bit odd, upside down fire, but we shall see. I don't know how dry these twigs are, but see if that catches. Right, well, I'm just making my coffee, boiling some water, and Gez is all done and ready to go. So, yeah, big thanks
Pleasure, mate.
again for letting me come here. It's a really good woodlands, it's a great place to come to, and I use it often when he's not here as well. So, big thanks to Gez. Boys in the wood, if you haven't...
Not the hood.
I nearly said hood. Boys in the Wood, if you haven't seen his channel, go and check it out. He's got some really, really good stuff on there. A lot of bushcrafty gear, loads of good cooking, unlike me with my noodles. So anyway, yeah, thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.
And I'll see you again next time. And he's promised he's coming down to Dartmoor, got it on video here. Everyone's going to agree it. It's a signed contract.
Will do. All right, catch you again.
Cheers, mate. Right, so I just let the fire die down and burn off. It was at one point like a jet rocket. And it burns through the wood pretty quickly, so depending upon what you got. The first lot that I used was some wood that I found lying around, lots of twigs, but it's quite damp. It took a while to take off, but then once it did, it burnt really, really quickly. So I've been using some of the kindling as well to try and keep it going. The problem is the kindling is a bit too long for it, and it's too thick for me to snap. So I think it would work really, really well with like pellets. So wood pellet would work good. But you can basically cook on anything with this. So anything that will burn, you can put sheep dung in there, you know, pine cones, anything, chuck it in. Because of the air control that you've got on it, you can just crank the power up and it will start to burn pretty much anything. My water is done and I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I'm in no rush this morning, so I'm just taking my time, and my coffee is brewing. I've got a Zimbabwe brew from Brew Company, and my little Kooksa mug. Chilling out in the little shelter here. So once that fire got going, it was like a jet. There was literally just flames shooting out the top. And once it was going, it boiled the water really quickly. It is, you know, there's hardly anything left in the bottom there. You can see it, a tiny bit of ash. But I did use some, the wood here isn't exactly dry. You know, it's not the best wood in the world, to be honest with you. So I got some kindling as well. The problem is it's quite long, so it sticks out of the pot, so you can't put then your water pot on top. So I had to let it sort of burn down a bit and then get the pot on there. So I think it's a matter of having to play around with this and getting it the right way for you. I think wood pellets would work really, really well. And if you can get lots of small little dry twigs, they'd really burn quite quickly. But yeah, it was very efficient. There was no smoke at all. So, you know, the sort of gasifier system that it's designed around worked incredibly well. But the fact that you could just adjust it and turn it up, the fire started to die down a bit, and I cranked it up, chucked a bit more wood on, and it just became like a jet. It was very powerful. So yeah, quite impressed with that. It's a pretty cool little piece of kit. It's great if you're going out to woodlands and you don't want to bring, you know, loads of fuel and other stuff along with you. This is like an ultralight hiker's stove. But it's also like a bit of a bushcrafty wood stove. It's a bit weird, but it works on both ways. Obviously this does come with 2 storage bags, so one for the mug, the pot, and then one for the actual stove itself. So that no doubt increases the weight a little bit, but when you take into consideration that you haven't got to bring any fuel, that's going to offset that massively. I will weigh this when I get home, because I haven't got scales with me here, and I put it up on the screen there, just to show you what the whole thing weighs. And a gas canister or alcohol is going to add at least another 200 grams onto that. So everything I've shown here tonight or on this video, I'll put a link in the description below, so if you do want to purchase it, there's some discount codes for the Pomoly gear as well. So yeah, it's decent stuff. A couple of little niggly things with that tent, in that it didn't come with enough guidelines. The stuff sack is not a stuff sack, it's an open bag with a zip on it, and it's impossible to get it back in the bag. It's not impossible, but I couldn't get it in with the poles and the pegs. I literally just managed to get it in on its own. I don't know why tent manufacturers do this. You know, it's packed in the factory, it's like rolled and flattened airtight by a machine, rolled perfectly to fit exactly in the bag, but you will never get it back like that. It's impossible. So the worst thing is, because it's got zip, you're trying to cram it in, pull the zip up, cram in a bit more, the zip opens because you're pushing it. Just have a stuff sack, it's darn sight easier. But other than that, it performed well, really enjoyed the space. It worked well as a hot tent. I can see myself using it again, so I will do. If you want to purchase anything that I've shown on here tonight, I'll put a link in the description to the Lofi Stove and the Pomoly gear and everything else. And yeah, just click on that link. I'll probably try and do a full detailed review on those individually, and I will connect it to my review channel. By the time this goes out, I won't have had them done, so the link won't be on this video, but it'll be in future videos, so I'll list it all there, or just keep an eye out on my other channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell, and you know when it pops up, because you might see some information on there that isn't shown on here. Right, I'm all packed up, I haven't got my bag on, but I'm ready to go, so I'm just going to get loaded up and then head off. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, as always, hit the thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.